Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Texas Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We have an awesome lineup of institutions for you to hear from this evening. But before I turn it over to them, I do have a couple of housekeeping items for you all. Number one, this is a webinar, so your camera and your microphone are off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you, but they do know that you'll have some questions. And so as you have questions throughout the presentations, feel free to put those questions in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Please address the college or institution that please list out the college or institution that you're directing your question to so they can answer appropriately. This is a really fun way to learn about different colleges and universities. And so we hope that you'll sign up for more sessions. So there's more sessions both tomorrow, which is Wednesday, and the day after that, which is Thursday. So check your schedule and sign up for additional sessions. This is being recorded this evening, and the recording will be available for playback very soon at that same website where you registered, which is strivescan.com/Texas. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. You're first going to have the opportunity to hear from the American University of Paris. Take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Courtney. I do appreciate it. As Courtney mentioned, my name is Nick Ewer, and I am here from the American University of Paris. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions, and I work with students specifically from Texas. I'm based in Chicago, so we're in the same time zone, and I'm able to help provide any support or anything like that that you might need help with along the way. So to kick things off, I'll tell you a little bit about AUP. So we are a small private liberal arts university. We are located in the heart of the 7th arrondissement in Paris. So you'll see on the far right, La Tour Marburg, which is our main administrative building, and then something you might recognize on the left, the Eiffel Tower. These look pretty far apart on this map, but this is actually only about 10-15 minutes walking from one side to the other. So you'll see all of our classroom buildings kind of interlaced between there. So you'll be walking amongst the 7th arrondissement. You'll be among patisseries and boulangeries and a very kind of quintessential Parisian neighborhood. Sometimes folks have a little bit of trouble visualizing it. So if you've been to Paris, I've made a map in the top left corner for you. So you can see the Eiffel Towers, the red circle on the left. Again, that's 10 minutes from our campus in the middle. And then I like to use the Louvre as another point of reference. So it's about 20-25 minutes walking. Sometimes when we hear about studying in Europe, we have kind of visions of old dank buildings and, kind of time-touched structures. But at AUP, we do have quite a lot of modern structures. So I've included the Quai d'Orsay and our Combs building here. These two are actually connected. They're kind of our student life center. And you can see a photo here of our beautiful kind of open air library that our students have access to. So we are very much a very modern university. Oftentimes, folks have questions about where our students come from. So we are an American university. All of our classes are taught in English, and we are fully accredited in the United States. So for that reason, about half of our students do come from the United States. Beyond that, about 15% come from France. The next 15 or so percent come from the rest of the European Union, and the last 20 or so percent come from all over the world. So we are very small, but we are pretty mighty in terms of our global reach. That's something that you'll hear me talk about over and over again is kind of our global education. So we do have a number of majors at AUP that kind of are taught through an international focus or an international lens, and that really speaks to kind of who we are as a university. So I'll talk about those in just another moment. But first, I wanted to just mention a bit more about our students. So in total, we only have 1,000 undergraduate students. So you will see that we are a very, very small university. But those students, again, represent 103 nationalities, and we've got about 65 different languages spoken on campus. I mentioned briefly some of the majors, and you can see our international lens or focus reflected in some of those. So those are going to be things like global communications, international and comparative politics, international business administration, international finance, things like that. We do have some other majors that are more typical for our liberal arts universities. So those are going to be things like psychology, like marketing, like entrepreneurship, economics, things of this nature. And then obviously we're located in Paris, so we do have some arts classes available for our students as well. That's going to be a visual fine arts program, a film studies program, and also our history. So there's quite a lot for you to get involved with and choose from while you're with us at AUP. As I mentioned, all of our classes are taught in English, and we do have faculty from all over the world as well. So they're really just as internationally diverse as our students. They hail from more than 30 different countries, and 70% of them speak 3 or more languages. So it's not just a bunch of old American professors that have taken up residence in Paris. They really do come from all over the world. Beyond that, our average class size is about 15, and our student to full-time faculty ratio is about 8-to-1. So again, you're going to have a lot of really direct attention with your professors and get a really kind of hands-on learning experience. Aside from what we have available in the classroom, we do have quite a lot available to our students outside the classroom. So at AUP, we do have a very robust student life. That's going to include 106 clubs, actually. This slide's a little bit outdated, but some of the more popular ones our students are interested in are things like Black and Abroad, the Diversity Council, the Hiking and Climbing Club, Le French, which is an improv club, and Wine Society. We do have discounted gym memberships, but if you're looking for a big sports school, that's probably not AUP. We have intramural sports available for our students. A lot of students have questions about housing as well, and at AUP, housing is going to be required your first year. We have some great housing options available for our students. The most popular one is the Champs-Élysées. It's just a few minutes walking from the Arc de Triomphe. You can see a couple of photos here. It really is a lovely residence. This is actually owned by the Qatari royal family, and we've since converted it into student housing, so it is very modern and quite nice. That's available in single, double, and triple accommodations, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to meet folks from around the world and get out and learn a little bit more about Paris. Aside from some of the clubs that we have, it looks like my box moved. I apologize, the end's cut off there, but we do have a number of cultural excursions and study trips available for our students. Some of the more popular ones, there is an international comparative politics course that goes to Geneva in Switzerland and focuses on UN, the international organizations, NGOs, things like that. So students will actually get to visit the United Nations, they'll go to the World Trade Organization, they get to meet people and tour these buildings. These are faculty-led and co-curricular, so you'll go along with a cohort of students from your class and kind of get out and get some firsthand experience with what it is you're learning in the classroom. You can see some of the other trips we've taken in the past are to places like Andalusia, Krakow, Marseille, Spain, Cairo. We really do go all over the region. So there's a lot of opportunity for our students to really get out there and kind of be global explorers, which is what we refer to our students as. I do have our tuition and financial, our tuition and living expenses outlined here. This is all in euro. That works out to roughly about 60,000 US dollars per year, but we do have a pretty robust financial aid package available for our students that covers up to 50% of tuition. And finally, a lot of students do have questions about applying, so you can apply fully on the Common App. We do have rolling admissions, so there is no firm deadline, but you can see some of the items that are required. So it is going to just be a quick application form, an essay and personal statement. Your activities, 2 letters of recommendation, your transcripts, and then we are fully a test optional institution, so you can choose whether or not you'd like to submit that. For the fall, our application deadlines are the 15th for early action, and our priority deadline is February 1st. But as I said, we don't have any firm deadlines, so you're welcome to submit whenever you'd like to. Finally, if you scan the QR code on the left, that will direct you to my information page, and the one on the right will take you to our Instagram. And thank you very much, Courtney.
Thanks, Nick, to you and the American University of Paris. Audience, don't forget, if you have questions for Nick or if you have questions for upcoming presenters, you can put that information in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the University of Toronto. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thanks, Courtney. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for having me tonight. My name is Erin. I am part of the recruitment team here at the University of Toronto. Really excited over the next few minutes to really explain to you what our university has to offer. Our students are really able to design degrees that they are passionate about and the ways in which they can mix and match a degree to really represent who they are. And of course, we will review a few admission information as well. So we are proud at the University of Toronto that we are ranked number 1 in Canada, and we are Canada's top research university. Not only are we consistently ranked as number 1 in Canada, but we are consistently also ranked in the top 20 year after year in the world. So whether you want to come back to Texas once you graduate, whether you want to stay in Toronto, or whether you want to go anywhere else in the world, your degree is really going to help set you up for success. And we actually have alumni living and working in over 190 different countries. So I always say, if you're looking for that kind of international experience that's, still close to home, where your northern neighbors here in Canada, there's great opportunities. And when you graduate, you can take that degree anywhere. Now, hopefully some of you have had the opportunity to visit Toronto, Canada, but if you haven't, definitely put it on your bucket list. It's an incredible city. U of T is a network of unique communities in the heart of one of the most dynamic regions in the world. The BBC has ranked Toronto as one of the world's most diverse cities. We're really proud of that. Not only does our city reflect that, but our campus also reflects that as well. So you're going to meet people from the States, but you're also going to meet people who, grew up down the street, but also people from all over the world. Most students or most people that live in Toronto were actually born outside of Canada and speak languages other than English. Our city is clean, absolutely delicious. So if you're a foodie, you're definitely going to find lots of great restaurants. It truly is something for everyone. And I promise you, you won't be bored. There's definitely lots of things to do and see in our city, whether that's museums, sports, shopping, restaurants, you name it, we have it. Now, we are Canada's largest university. We're really proud of that. But just because we're a large university, we do break it into much smaller communities so you can make friends and, get to know your professors. And by being a large university, it allows our students choice. One of the biggest choices that you have at U of T is which campus you want to study at. So we are one university with 3 distinct campuses. Our St. George campus found right in the heart of downtown Toronto. So our urban campus, if you like the hustle and bustle of city life, then St. George is going to be a great option for you. If you're like me, maybe you like being in the city, but you want like a little bit of a smaller, tight-knit community that's a little bit smaller in size, then our Scarborough and Mississauga campuses are great options. At the end of the day, you're getting the exact same U of T degree, so it's all about fit and which fit's going to be the best fit for you. One of the things a lot of our students really enjoy is that you can really mix and match a degree that represents who you are. We want to make sure that at the end of the 4 years when you've graduated that you've actually, enjoyed going to class and that your degree really represents your interests. Now we have over 700 program areas, arts, business, and science being our largest one. I know many of you tonight are interested in kind of the liberal arts. So of those 700 programs, we do have about 200 of them in the arts area. Obviously, I can't talk about all 200 tonight, but I did want to highlight a few of them. So some of our arts programs include theater and drama studies, journalism, and visual studies, just to name a few. Our social science programs include things like criminology, law and society, city studies, and archaeology. And some of our humanities programs include cinema studies, food studies, and bioethics, just to name a few. So that kind of gives you a quick snapshot as to some of the many of our programs that we have. Like I said, we do have over 200. Now, it's not just about getting involved inside of the classroom, but we do really encourage our students to get involved outside of the classroom. So we have opportunities to connect what you're learning with kind of real life experience. So we do have co-op programs for some of our arts programs. So that allows you 2 or 3 paid work terms built right into your 4-year degree. If you're interested in traveling and going abroad and getting that international experience beyond your time at U of T, we have over 160 partners in over 45 different countries. We have over 1,000 different student clubs, and we do have the largest intramural program in the country. So we're really proud of the fact that our students don't just go to class, but they really do get involved outside of the classroom. And I do encourage you to, when you come to U of T, to bring your interests with you and to continue that outside of the classroom. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about admission information. Obviously tonight I can't go into every single program, so I do really encourage you to have a chance to check out some of our online resources. If you go to uft.me/700 programs, as well as you can see some more information on the screen there. In general, we are looking at strong academic results in the last 2 years of high school, along with specific prerequisite courses depending on the program that you're interested in. Now, in terms of scholarships, all students are automatically assessed for merit-based scholarships when they do apply, but I always like to highlight our largest scholarship, which is our Lester B. Pearson Scholarship, so you can read some more information on that at pearson.utoronto.ca. We also have an awards explorer where you can see all of the different awards that we do have available. Now that's pretty much U of T in a very quick nutshell, but I do encourage you to check out discover.utoronto.ca. That's where you'll find some more information about tours, webcasts, and on-demand information. It's also a chance where you can book a one-on-one appointment with a recruiter like myself. We have lots of spring events going on, so definitely encourage you to check that out because that will allow you to do a deeper dive into what U of T is all about. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it off to the next recruiter and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much.
Erin, thanks so much to you and the University of Toronto. So fun. We've been to Paris, we've been to Toronto, and get ready for the next trip. So up next, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the University of Stirling. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for giving up a bit of your evening to come hang out. My name is Jason Vine, the International Recruitment Manager at the University of Stirling, based in Stirling, Scotland. Now it is close to midnight in Scotland, so forgive me if I leave something out or if something catches your fancy. There is a QR code at the bottom of the screen, so give it a scan if something catches your fancy, and that way we can keep the chat going. So we're going to hop on BA flight 1573 from Dallas over to Edinburgh and head on over to Scotland. So if nobody's been lucky enough to come to Scotland, it's certainly ranked as one of the most beautiful countries in the world consistently, as well as one of the friendliest. Us in Ireland tend to fight it out for who can give you the warmest welcome. If you have been to Scotland, you've probably been to Edinburgh, maybe Glasgow. Edinburgh's the capital, Glasgow is the largest city. Stirling is a city smack dab in the middle of them. So you have both of those metropolises right at your fingertips. Stirling is known as the gateway to the Highlands because when the English were attacking the Scottish clansmen, they had to take Stirling in order to get access into the Highlands. So on one half of the university, we are located in the foothills of the Scottish Highlands, so you can certainly live your Outlander fantasy. On the other half of the university is the rolling flatlands of central Scotland. So it's a pretty picturesque setting to study in for sure. A couple of quick facts about the University of Stirling. We are top 30 in the UK. So it's a pretty fabulous academic ranking to support you whether you're going on to grad school, staying in the UK for work, coming back to the US for either grad school or finding a job in the US. It's a pretty great reputation to support you. We are also the 2020 Sports University of the Year. So if we have any competitive athletes in the audience, we would love to recruit you for soccer, golf, swimming, rugby, or triathlon, if those happen to be your sports. We participate at the NCAA level, so you can certainly get a very competitive elite athletic performance experience while you're studying in Scotland. We're a modest sized university, so about 14,000 students, most of which is undergrad. We have about 650 students from the US on campus at any given time. So if you need a taste of home, or if you want to set up a Super Bowl viewing party, you certainly have enough presence there from the US to set those things up without being in a US bubble while you're in Scotland. You'll certainly have a very Scottish experience in Stirling. A bird's eye view of campus. We are one of Scotland's youngest universities, so founded in 1967. So campus looks very US style. So in the middle of campus is Airtree Loch. It's loch, not a lake, FYI. But you'll recognize a couple of these buildings if you're a fan of Outlander, particularly season 4, when Brianna is going to view a couple of Scottish universities and students are protesting Scottish independence, a very, very fitting conversation for the modern times, but you'll recognize Pathfoot in that fitting. They also shot a couple of scenes over at Airtree Castle, which is now the president's residence. But you've got a doctor on campus, a very self-sustaining campus, complete with a Olympic-sized sports facility, which is also home to the National Scottish Swimming Academy. As far as degree offering, a wide depth and breadth from similar to what you would expect from a US university. As far as liberal arts is concerned, it's very important to mention that although the US system is loosely based on the Scottish, so Scotland undergrad degrees are 4 years long, you will have to apply directly to a program, but because it's 4 years, you can still change your mind. Very important for liberal arts students, there is no Common Core or Gen Ed requirement component of your education. So you will never have to take a math or science class ever again unless you want to. So you come in taking courses in your major and you only have to take courses that are in your major and elective courses that you want to take that are complementary if you want. If you still want to take those math and science courses, far be it from me to stop you. You can certainly take them as electives. However, you will never be forced to take those classes ever again. As far as entry requirements, we are test optional. So a 3.0 unweighted GPA is what we're looking for US high school students. If you have had access to taking AP exams or the SAT or ACT, we will allow you to submit those test scores if you've done well. We need one of the following: a 26 on the ACT, a 1200 on the SAT, neither of which can be super scored, or 2 APs with at least a 3 above. In addition to that, we'll need an academic reference and a personal statement. I threw in this photo of the Stirling University American football team. So if anybody plays football, your experience with the US football will be very appreciated. I can't say that the team is very good, but they do play other American football teams in Scotland. They give it their best. So if you do play, you'll probably be the best on the team if you want to come and play for us. The undergrad process, you can apply to Stirling on the Common App. A couple of other international universities have mentioned that. If you have more than one UK university that you're examining, I would recommend that you use UCAS, which is the UK's version of the Common App. Either or is fine. We have no preference. We just ask that you don't use both at the same time. If we have any seniors that are applying for September, the application deadline is the 30th of June. So you still have plenty of time to get your application in. For juniors, applications will open up in September. So you've got time to get your application together. As far as scholarships, if you have above the 3.3, you have a £2,000 tuition discount. We are registered with FAFSA, so financial aid, federal aid transfers over just like it would with a US university. And typically we are very cost effective, especially if you're looking at out-of-state options. So with a projected cost of living, there's no meal plan that you have to buy. You don't have to live on campus if you don't want to, but with liberal arts are typically a classroom-based course. So with the cost of living and your tuition, you're looking at under $35,000 US for the year. So definitely cheaper than staying, than going out of state for sure. We don't have any roommates, so everybody will be living on their own. You'll be given a flat or an apartment, share your apartment with 4 to 6 other single rooms. So you have plenty of opportunity to meet other people as well. And then if you've heard anything you like, feel free to scan the code and get in touch. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, guys.
Jason, thank you so much for being up at midnight, sharing a history lesson and also great information about Outlanders and where it was filmed. That was really interesting. So everyone, I'm sure that you've enjoyed hearing from the schools that you've heard from so far, but we still have 3 great ones left to go. So up next is Oxford Brookes University. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Siobhan Frank. I'm the Global Recruitment Manager here at Oxford Brookes University. So I help students from the US, Canada, and Mexico come to study here in the UK. Very similar to Jason, I'm actually in the UK in England, in Oxford itself. So as well, kind of the midnight mark here too. So what I'll do is I'll chat a little bit about the university, including where we're located. So we are located in Oxford, which is in the United Kingdom, in England. Over here on our left-hand side, you can see a map of the UK and Ireland, and you can see where we are in proximity to London. Your closest airports are likely going to be London Heathrow Airport and London Gatwick Airport. We do have a direct bus line system that runs back and forth from the airport, which is really great. So it actually picks you up right outside of the terminal and drops you off right outside of our Headington campus. There's a stop directly across the road from us. So it's nice and easy for you to travel here without a car, which is great. Now, Oxford itself, you might recognize the name of the city. We do actually share the city with another very famous university. So here in the city, we've got 2 universities. We've got Oxford Brookes University and we have the University of Oxford. What that means is that we have a really high student population here in the city. So 1 in every 4 students here are, or adults are students. It does mean that it is very much a student-centric and a student-friendly city, which is great. Now, as a student here at Oxford Brookes University, you'll be pleased to know that we actually have a really good relationship with the University of Oxford. And as a student, you'll be able to access something called the Bodleian Library, which is the University of Oxford's library system. Really great complement to our own library system here on campus, and the Oxford Union. So that is a student club, it's a student debating society, but they also hold all sorts of really interesting events, including a very famous speaker series where they've had people from famous world leaders, they've had actors, actresses, and musicians there. So it's really quite a neat club to get involved in. Now, a little bit about Oxford. So there is really something for everyone to get involved in. We've got 5 museums here in the city. So up here, you can see our Pitt Rivers Museum. You can see our Ashmolean Museum, which is really great. Now, if museums aren't your scene, that's okay. There's totally something for you to do as well. So we do have a really lively sort of downtown row, which features some really lovely restaurants. We've got music venues, there's some pubs. Here you can see the head of the river, which is one of our pubs here in the city, kind of downtown, but there's also some really beautiful river walks along that way as well. So if you are into green spaces, we've got some beautiful green spaces in and around Oxfordshire. Now over here on our right, you can see one of our students doing what's called punting. That is a river activity, really common to see students out on the river in the summertime. It's a lot of fun, a lot harder than it looks. It's a little bit like a gondola, but it is a great thing to try and definitely recommend if you come here to the city. Now a little bit about Oxford Brookes. We've got 4 main faculties. So we've got the business school, health and life sciences, humanities and social sciences, which is probably of interest to you, and our faculty of technology, design, and the environment. Within that, we have a number of different programs and departments as well. So all sorts of different subject areas, depending on what your interests are. We do also offer a number of our joint programs here in humanities and social sciences as well. So if you want to combine 2 interests into 1 degree, that's a really great option too. Now over here on the right-hand side, you can see our own library, which is really great. That's within our John Henry Brookes building. Now, as well, you might be interested to know that we do offer an actual bachelor, honors bachelor in liberal arts. So it starts in 2023. The tuition is around £14,600, so quite reasonable. That's the 19,500 mark US dollars. It's 3 years or 4 if you choose a paid work placement year. So that's a really great opportunity if you want to get some work experience. It is paid, so you can earn money while you're studying as well. Now, our entry requirements do range from that 3.0 GPA plus a 75 in your grade 12 English. Now, really great for people who are interested in multidisciplinary subject areas, and you're going to learn all sorts of interesting things. Some really cool courses that we've got on this class include Reading Wonderland. C.S. Lewis was here and wrote Alice in Wonderland here in the city, Oxford in history, all sorts of different things as well. So really neat courses within that liberal arts program. Now, why Oxford Brookes? It's more than just our rankings. You get to live in a world famous city known for its rich history and education. You'll gain the fundamental skills and global experience to succeed. And you'll get to experience a new country and a new culture. I think a lot of people here will probably agree that if you come, to study abroad, you'll meet a lot of different international friends from different areas of the world, which is really great. And we also have a number of different supports that are available to you. So we've got things like our Academic Development Center to help you achieve your academic goals. We've got our Inclusive Support Center, counseling, multi-faith chaplaincy, our career service, which is available to you as a student and after you leave, as well as our mentoring schemes, again, available to you as a current student and alum. Now, again, a little bit about our entry requirements. So we are test optional. So our high school diploma from a 3.0 GPA, which usually includes an English from a 75%. Any of our courses that have subject-specific requirements can be met either via grade 12 honors level courses or APs. Now, our tuitions typically range from about that 14,600 to 17,100 in tuition, and the paid work placement year is about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. We do accept FAFSA, Veterans Loans Benefits, and Sallie Mae loans, and we offer a £2,000 International Student Acceptance Scholarship. Now, I won't go into too much detail about this, quickly whiz through. You can either apply through UCAS or apply to us directly. And similar to what everyone else said, you'll need proof of your qualifications, a personal statement, and an academic reference. Now, if you've got any other questions, please do feel free to visit our website, www.brookes.ac.uk, or get in touch with me directly. My email is sfrank@brookes.ac.uk. You can also catch us on socials. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much to Oxford Brookes University. Audience, don't forget, if you have questions for the presenters that have gone already, feel free to put those in the chat. But next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you John Cabot University. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. So I'm just figuring out these windows right here. All right. Okay, it's being a little slow. All right, so my name is Ramsey. I'm the admissions counselor for John Cabot. I also graduated from JCU close to 5 years ago. So if you guys have any questions about that, I can answer both sides of those. But let's jump right in. So a few things to know right off the bat. John Cabot is an American institution. We're an American university in the center of Rome. So that means when you graduate, you get an American degree. And you can come back to the US, just like earning a degree in the US. We're a liberal arts institution. So you got the freedom of choosing those classes, kind of building the schedule exactly how you want. And we have more of the liberal arts majors as well. As you can see, our enrollment profile, we do have students from all around the world. We have students from over 70 different countries. So it's a very diverse multicultural experience. Actually, this coming fall, it's looking like we're going to have our biggest class ever. So yeah, a lot of students coming in from around the world. And we do have our average class size is around 15 students. And yeah, I'll get into financial aid and tuition and all of that. So right away, we have our academics. We have 14 majors and 19 minors. All of these majors are offered as minors as well, with a few more at the bottom. But yeah, I studied communications and minored in humanistic studies. But like I said before, you can double major, you can kind of build exactly what you want in your degree. Sorry, this is getting a little slow on me. So even while being abroad, you can study abroad. So I know for some of you going to Rome is enough, but maybe you have some family in the UK, or you always wanted to go to Greece or something like that. We have partnerships with all these different universities all around the world. You can study at them for a semester, even up to a year, and you won't have to pay any difference in tuition than you do at John Cabot. So lots of different chances to travel. Of course, you can study abroad, you can travel. I mean, that's why you go to these international institutions, right? Something that's big at GCU is our career services. So we have partnerships. I think now it's over 700 companies in and outside of Rome. And 3 times a year, we invite these companies to our campus where you get to talk to them, see what they're looking for in an applicant, hopefully get an interview. And as you can see, a lot of the students who get an interview end up getting that position. So it's really not, it's about the effort that you put into it. It's not for lack of resources. So while you're there, you can definitely get some professional experience. We're very focused on that. The career services team is focused on getting you an internship while you're at John Cabot, and then helping you afterwards, especially in that last semester that you're at John Cabot, and then afterwards when you're an alumni. Here are just some of the examples of many organizations in Rome that you can get a internship at. I'll move on because we don't have a lot of time. But our campus, so it's an urban campus. It's right in the center of Rome. So you can really walk to almost all of the touristic things that you think about when you think of Rome, like the Colosseum and the Vatican and the Pantheon. It's all on the river. So, 3-4 minutes walking of each other. Our Critelli campus is literally right, from the classrooms, you can see the water and the river. It's our newest buildings, has our president's office, admissions office, some classrooms. Our Guarini campus, which should be next, is our oldest campus. It's just a 5-minute walk from there. So you pick up, a piece of pizza, coffee, and go to your next class. I know it sounds like a joke, but that's actually how it is over there. Very beautiful, a lot of student lounge areas. We have our library there, our auditorium. And then our Tiber campus has the cafeteria. Don't need to tell you that the food is amazing over there in Italy, so definitely get the meal plan. But yeah, a bunch of classrooms here and student service offices. And then we also have our own art facility. A lot of people come to Rome to be studying art specifically. So it's nice to kind of have your own space. I took my photography courses here. We do have our own housing. That's a question I get quite a lot. We have our own housings. They're all apartment style. They're all 24-hour security. You need your badges to get into any of our buildings, actually. Pretty close to campus. They're all similar. There's different options. They're all similar in that they're all apartment style. So, you'll have a kitchen and maybe a small balcony. I feel like a local right away. We have a bunch of clubs, different ways to kind of get involved. That's probably the question I get asked the most is, how's the transition? How is it meeting people? Do you get adjusted? And, we have our ways. And one of the ways is definitely, of course, making friends and, getting involved in clubs. And I think we have a little bit of something for everyone. I can't go into all of these, of course, but even if there isn't something here, we give you the resources and the money to start a new club if you have the support. We do love using our environment, so we do a lot of trips and activities in Rome. I mean, we know why you're in Rome and why you come to Italy. We want you to see the area and experience the culture, so we try to help out with that. But yeah. Let's go on right here. We do have athletics. I won't go too far into it because I don't have that much time, but our biggest team is our soccer team, of course, because it's Italy, but we have a full gym on campus. We have basketball, volleyball, and then a bunch of we outsource to different places around Rome for the others. So our admissions, if this would stop being so slow, yeah, we are on the Common App. We just need a few things for your application, transcripts, letters of recommendation, personal essay, and an interview, most likely with me. SATs and ACTs are optional. And we do a lot of financial aid. We have need-based grants and merit-based grants. Definitely scan this QR code that I have for you guys. That is my time. My name is Ramsey, but all this information on the QR code has everything I was just talking about. But yeah, thank you.
Ramsey, thank you so much to you and John Cabot University. We're now going to travel from Italy to London. So next up, you're going to get to hear from London Metropolitan University. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Courtney. My name's Ashley Monaghan. I am going to share my slides for everyone. Thank you. So thanks again for joining us this evening. We're very excited to speak with everybody and travel around the globe virtually. But my name is Ashley Monaghan. I work for London Metropolitan University as the international officer. There's actually two of us based in the States. I am based in the Midwest, and then my counterpart is based on the East Coast, but you can see some of our social media handles down there, as well as our London Met website for you to do some exploring on your own. So without further ado, just sort of an overview of London Met. We are located in central London, which is of course in England, which is in the UK. And it is the capital of the UK, and we have two campuses. We have our Holloway campus, which is just a little bit north of the center of the city. And then we have our Aldgate campus, which is pretty much right smack dab in the center of the city. And we kind of consider them to be our left brain and right brain campuses, respectively. Holloway has some programs like business, computing, and then our Aldgate campus has more hands-on textiles, architecture, things like that. So lots of exciting opportunities for you. As a London Met student, you can use the facilities at both of the campuses, and they're a quick ride away from each other. So that's something else you can look forward to being a student in London and really becoming a Londoner. I do want to note our shared inbox that we have in the bottom left of the screen, which is usa@londonmet.ac.uk, so that you can get in touch with Megan and myself if you have any questions. But even more of an overview of London Met, we are about 10,000 students. That is undergraduate and postgraduate students. The majority of our students are undergraduate. We like to think of London Met as the quote unquote real London, meaning our campuses are located in neighborhoods, and there are a lot of domestic home students from the UK that are attending our university. So that's an opportunity for international students to really come in and make their mark and be an ambassador to their home country, but also, learn with those domestic students and really feel like, again, you are a Londoner. Speaking of, we have 128 nationalities represented, and as most UK universities, or at least most English, Welsh, and Northern Ireland universities, we have 3-year undergraduate bachelor's degrees, 1-year master's degrees, and we have just kind of a snapshot, a very general overview of our prices. They are about £15,000 to £17,000. And for all students enrolling in September 2022, you will be automatically granted awarded a £2,000 scholarship, which is very exciting. At the undergraduate level, you will be awarded a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Sciences, or a Bachelor's in Engineering. And all of our programs are interdisciplinary, so you can take modules in other courses that are not necessarily related to your program. These are our 5 different schools. So again, you can kind of put into context what I mentioned before about the left brain versus the right brain, but these are different programs that we offer for students. And in popularity, especially amongst US students, are accounting and finance, computer science, of course, psychology is another one. Architecture is something that is also quite popular and something that we are quite proud of. So just a snapshot, but I would encourage you to explore a little bit more on your own. And this is, again, a very abstract map of London, but you can see our Holloway campus. It is right next to the Emirates Stadium. For any Arsenal fans out there, or anybody who's really a fan of football, it's a big part of culture in the UK. So that's something that we like to kind of brag about. And then you can see our Aldgate campus. It's a little bit further south. It's sort of in the business district of London, closer to the River Thames. And you can see that London is, well, maybe you can't see, but I'll tell you, London is a very walkable city. So it's nice to think of it as your campus, or so I like to think. We are test flexible, and we will be for at least the next 3 years. Something for those interested in liberal arts programs or liberal arts degrees. It is a little bit different in the UK, just in terms of what you're able to take. You don't really have a general electives year, even if you are studying a four-year degree. But we do have something called a foundation year, which is kind of as close as we can get, at least at London Met, to this idea of liberal arts. And that means that if you do not meet our entry requirements or GPA requirements, if you don't have the test scores like the ACT, AP, SAT, then you are able to apply for the foundation year, which is basically just an extra kind of layer of academic support that will go into your program, but it is still program-based classes. So that's sort of the best example that we at London Met have for a liberal arts degree, but it's definitely a great option for students who need that additional support. And the UK education system is, it is quite rigorous. So that is definitely good. I would say a good foundation, of course, considering the name foundation year. You can see everything else on here in terms of an assessment alternative. So there's lots of different ways for you to be accepted. You can apply by UCAS. I highly recommend just applying to us directly because it's free and it's free. So that would be my recommendation. And I think that's actually it for me. But again, my name's Ashley, and thanks again for your attention. I'll hand it back over to you, Courtney.
Thanks so much, Ashley, to you and London Metropolitan University. So really quickly, before we end this, I'd like to invite everyone to turn back on their cameras, or all of our presenters to turn back on their cameras. And in the same order that you presented, if you wouldn't mind sharing one quick thing that you really want students to remember about your institution. So we'll start with Nick first.
Perfect. Thank you, Courtney. I really appreciate it. So I think at AUP, one really important takeaway, if I could give you one, is really just going to be that we truly are a global university, and we offer that global education and global experience. As I mentioned, we do refer to our students as global explorers, which I will totally own is a little bit cheesy, but it really kind of speaks to who we are and what we offer at AUP, and kind of, what we're trying to foster in the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. That was a good answer. I think the one thing I want you to remember about the University of Toronto is that you have choice. We really want you to design a degree that you're excited about, that you're passionate about. We want to make sure that your degree really represents you. So there's lots of ways in which you do that. Through our 3 campuses, you have choice through our programs, and you have choice through our extracurriculars. But at the end of the day, your degree and your experience should really represent who you are. And we're looking forward to having you part of our community and bringing that choice with you. So thanks so much for having us tonight.
Yeah, in a similar vein to UT, Stirling offers you the chance to be a little bit flexible with the degree that you have. So you still have 4 years. You can change your major, you can add a double major, you can add a major minor, you can drop them if you add them and they turn out to not be the right fit. You can do that and go right into your major without taking gen eds that have nothing to do with your degree. And I think that that's the true advantage.
Yeah, and I think From Oxford Brookes, really one of the main focuses of the university and the staff here at the university is to ensure that you're ready for employment once you finish your degree. So kind of grew from a polytechnic into a university. We are a fairly young university, but that ethos of preparing you for the workplace does carry through in all of our degrees. So that's certainly something if you are kind of looking, and again, different universities are going to have different reasons, and depending on what career path you want to take, it's going to be completely up to you. But certainly if you are looking to kind of be work ready at the end of your degree, that's going to be a good option here at the university. Or Oxford Brookes University.
And then from London Met, something to keep in mind, we score very highly in the student satisfaction survey every year, which is, again, I would encourage you to check that out if you have the opportunity to. And that is down to our academics, our professors. They are practitioners in the field, so they're just great in terms of networking and really guiding you through that career search option that you have, which is pretty invaluable.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. I told you this was going to be a really fun way to learn about a lot of different colleges. Thanks to our panelists. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey. So we do hope that you'll provide us with some feedback. And again, there's more sessions tomorrow and the day after that. This recording will be available at strivescan.com/Texas. And I think I can speak for all of our panelists and that we wish you the best with your college search and have some freaking fun with this. Bye, everyone.